The appearance of the first shaman may have happened more or less by chance. From then on, however, knowledge is collected and passed on in a targeted manner. The shaman is no longer just a healer and sage, he also becomes a teacher. But who becomes a student? Our brain has certain capacities that are easier to master by summarizing them in so-called chunks. This is a simple way of summarizing information that is related to a certain context so that it is easier to remember. A cooking pot, dishwashing brush and spoon, for example, are all included in the umbrella term kitchen utensils. You create order in your head. The Dutch use the 6-digit rule, which states that you can best memorize 6 individual pieces of information. This is why their telephone numbers consist of 6 numbers and their car license plates of a mix of letters and numbers, which together also make 6 individual characters. Perhaps the size of a traditional family. Another key number is 50. We are excellent at storing and remembering up to plus minus 50 things of one kind. This could summarize the members of a clan. A clan in the early days of mankind could not include more people than one could survey and know well. They could have been around 50. One of them was to be the candidate for the post of shaman of the next generation. Of course, one from the group that the medicine man or woman knew best and whose abilities he or she could best assess. The apprentice's most important lesson is to gain access to the realm of knowledge. This is about the active experience of knowledge, and I mean experiencing it, not the abstract absorption from books and lectures. The path there, the center between sleeping and waking, comes from 2 directions. This special state of consciousness in which you experience information from other worlds must be free from everyday chatter, the pursuit of fame and fortune and all other distractions, at least as far as the time you spend on the job is concerned, meaning searching for healing possibilities for a sick person, for example. You can't find spiritual answers either when you're consciously awake or asleep. Only exactly in between, in half sleep, or to put it another way, in a trance. So you can get to the place from both the waking and the sleeping state. That's what I meant by the 2 directions. From the waking state it seems to be somewhat easier. Certain breathing and concentration techniques make it possible to sink into a trance. Drumming, dancing and singing also help. Monotony bores the mind, which is why the rhythms should be insistent but also monotonous. If the mind cannot find a point of reference for distracting thoughts, but at the same time tunes in to the hypnotic rhythm, it opens itself up to the influences from the spiritual world. Without this concentration on the intangible, however, it immediately begins to occupy itself with the trivial, with thoughts about everyday things and things that obscure insights, wishes and desires, for example. This is the pitfall of both shamanic trance and meditation, focusing on silence. But if one of us has already succeeded, why should it be impossible for others? It works the same way from sleep. The trick here, or rather the skill you need to learn, is to consciously decide at a certain point in the dream to ask the essential question that brought you here without waking up immediately. That's not easy. Imagine you are surprised by a sudden event. You are on a path through the forest and suddenly you hear the roar of a bear. When you are awake, you are really wide awake. When you are asleep, this is exactly what you should avoid, because as soon as you wake up, the bear is gone, and with it the chance to communicate with it. Nevertheless, there are also aids and methods here. One of these is the so-called reality test. If we do it as often as possible during the day, it becomes ingrained like any other habit. The probability increases that we will do it in our dreams at some point. If you do something dozens of times a day, it simply becomes ingrained. The only difference is that the result will be different in a dream than in our usual reality. "Can you pinch me?" the stunned person jokingly asks his friend in order to realize that something unexpected is really happening. A self-executed reality test in a waking state can, for example, consist of drilling the index finger into the palm of the other hand. In a dream, we realize that instead of encountering resistance, our finger simply slides through the hand. We are indeed dreaming. We realize that we are not in everyday reality. Now that we have recognized this, we can practice controlling the dream. What was that again that I wanted here? That brings us to pitfall number 2, the loss of intention in dreams. Now we know that we are dreaming, but we have forgotten what we wanted to dream. A simple method is to put a piece of paper with the task in your pocket when you are awake. Every time we do the finger through palm test, we immediately take the piece of paper out of our pocket and read what it says. We create a sequence of actions that remain inextricably linked, even and especially in dreams. This memorizes the task while we are awake, but also takes an automatism that can then take effect in dreams. "Oh, my finger is sliding through my hand. I should read my order note." But you shouldn't be unsettled if it doesn't work straight away. Perhaps you realize in your dream, "Oops, I'm wearing the wrong trousers. The note is now in the washing machine." If you have nothing else planned anyway, you can of course go to the washing machine in your dream and get it out. But there is a good chance that you will forget what you were actually going to do with the washing machine on the way. What's more, a bear could still meet you on the way, and then the project will no longer be in focus anyway. An alternative would be to write the question or the task on the palm of your hand. Or you can think of a much better trick for focusing on a goal in your dream. Let your imagination run wild. You'll come up with something that might work much better than my clumsy advice. However, it doesn't work without practice, perseverance, repetition, and dedication. This is where the less suitable shaman students sort themselves out. You may have drawn a medicine wheel on your hand as an mnemonic device and then forgotten what it means. Well, it is an important tool for the shaman and can mark the entrance to your personal spiritual world. We will take a closer look at this in the next part of the Shaman video series. See you there.